Good morning. Just want to remind everybody to please sit in their advisory seating. I'll introduce our speaker in just a moment. There was a news report a couple of days ago out of Phoenix of a 7-year-old boy who was on a flight with his parents. You may have heard about this. He had a severe allergic reaction to a dog that was on the flight, a guide dog, a service dog. And the news report was the doctor came on the plane, the flight was delayed, the boy was having a severe reaction, the airline determined they would not let him fly. So they escorted the family off the plane. The news was that as they packed up and walked off the plane, other members, other customers on the flight started applauding and ridiculing this young man and teasing him. And obviously he was very upset. The family was then stranded for 2 days before the boy's medical condition subsided. He was able to fly again. We have presidential candidates who are using hurtful and divisive speech on a daily basis in our country. And therefore our speaker today, I think, is very timely. Mr. Flood is here to talk basically about empathy, which is something that seems to be lacking in our culture these days. And he's already met with some of you this morning. He met with some of our 9th grade student leaders first period. He's going to meet with some other classes later today. But I have the privilege to introduce Mr. Flood. He's a married father of 2 children, ages 14 and 17. He's a board member of Kids Plus, which helps special needs children. He's a member of the Northport Drug and Alcohol Task Force in Long Island, New York. He belongs to the Anti-Bias Consortium for Nassau County Schools. He is a hospice volunteer that visits terminally ill patients. In the past several years, he's spoken to well over 100,000 middle and high school students. David is also addicted to Sour Patch Kids, sour Skittles, Starbucks coffee, and anything with sugar or caffeine. So we probably have that in common. Please welcome Mr. David Flood.
Kumusta na kayo sa inyong lahat? Taga saan? Ang asawa ko ay nakatira sa Paranaque. The seniors are looking at me like, you're going to do this in English, right, Mr. Flood? Who knows what language that is? Anybody know what language that is? Yes. What's the language though?
Tagalog.
Tagalog, very good. How do you know? You know Tagalog? That's the first time. Are you Filipino? You live there, okay. That's the first time I've ever done that opening and someone's actually known right away. Well, so what I just said to you, correct me if I'm wrong, is I said, Kumusta na kayo sa inyong lahat? Welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to the assembly, very formal welcome to Tagalog. And then I said, Taga saan, which means from where are you? Where are you from? And then I said, Ang asawa ko ay nakatira sa Paranaque, and that means my wife is from a city in the Philippines called Paranaque. My wife is Filipino. She just got back from there, as a matter of fact. She was there for 3 weeks. And the reason that I tell you that is because I like to talk about my family, because they're funny. At least I think they are. I have 2 children, like Mr. Mills told you. I have a son and a daughter who look nothing like me. They look like my wife. They look Asian. They have little Asian noses and brown eyes and black hair. I can say that, right? When, as a matter of fact, when my daughter was born, when Sarah was born, all of her relatives wanted to know if she was going to get a white nose. And I'm like, I don't care if she gets a white nose. I just want her to have a nose. Like, they were worried that she'd have a bridge. So I was like, Daddy, I can never buy glasses because I don't have a bridge. I'm like, okay, that's your worst problem, Sarah. So she looks nothing like me. So I was in a bank when she was a baby. And she was in a car carrier. And I'm doing my banking, minding my own business. Woman standing behind me in the bank. She looks at me, she looks down at Sarah, and then she looks back at me and she says, she's beautiful. Where'd you get her? I'm like frozen. I'm like, maybe this woman doesn't know, like my wife and I, maybe this woman doesn't know where babies come from. Like, what do you say? What do you say to someone, So I looked right at her. When I said I looked right at her, I was like, Walmart? They were having a special on Asian children. It was buy one, get one free. Who says that? Like we think. We had this great sign in our house. I'll never forget it. my mom had a little sign that said, "Be sure brain is in gear before engaging mouth." You know, and I know a lot of families, ladies and gentlemen, who have children who are adopted, who don't look like them, who aren't biologically theirs, and I'm jealous of that unconditional love that someone can have when they adopt a child. So, Sarah's awesome though. She is 14 going on 25. She's a freshman. She thinks she's a big deal. She thinks she's a big deal. You know what Sarah's like? When you guys were little, did you watch Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Veruca Salt. Daddy, I want the pony. I want Ugg boots. I want Vineyard Vines. I want Tory Burch. I tell people she has TB, not tuberculosis. She has Tory Burch disease. That's Tory Burch. You know Tory Burch in the city? She's great. She does Sarah's a piece of work. She does bad man moves. Doing push-ups like Sarah. She really has built my confidence. She's on. She takes 7 dance classes. She's a Tigerette again, which is a big deal. The honor roll. She's really a great kid. And as a matter of fact, see, a freshman, did you get a yearbook coming out of 8th grade? Yes, you got to get a yearbook, and you got seniors going to get a yearbook this year? And people write things in your yearbook, right? Yes? Okay. Now, Sarah got a yearbook at the end of 8th grade, and she was off wherever she was in school that day, doing her thing. And I said, come on, look in the yearbook and look at all these little kids who I've seen since they've been in kindergarten, and there's, Caitlin, Justin, and Gianna, and those kids that grew up. So I get to the back of the yearbook where people sign it, right? And girls, I wasn't snooping, it's a yearbook, it's not her diary. So I want to read you some of the things that they wrote in Sarah's yearbook. Dear Sarah, I love you, you're my BFF, I'll never ever stop loving you. Dear Sarah, have an awesome summer, I'm gonna miss you. Dear Sarah, have a nice life, you smell like rotten eggs and you're bad at tech. Dear Sarah, I can't wait to make babies with you when we get to the high school. That's for the boys. Please don't write that in your girlfriend's yearbook. Sarah got home that day, I was standing at the door, I'm like, Sarah, who's Ryan? I texted her, I know the principal at Sarah's school, I'm good friends with her, and I texted her, Tim, what kind of place are you running down there? She's a great kid, she really is. She's a very, very important part of our family. And my son Justin is a junior in high school. Justin's 17 years old, and Justin has autism. And he's awesome. He's my hero. He's everything I want to be. He is kind. He is compassionate. He's caring. He's forgiving. But he doesn't understand social situations. Can't look people in the eye. He doesn't know how to interject himself into a conversation. Doesn't know how to act. Doesn't have friends. He's got acquaintances. And when he went off to high school when he was a freshman, he got in trouble for a couple of things. Justin has an aide. He's got a one-on-one aide. And one time he went into her pocketbook because he saw a medicine bottle. And Justin doesn't have a filter, so he sees medicine bottle and he thinks, she's sick and I want to look. He doesn't understand, go into other people's stuff. And he got in trouble for that. And then another time, a boy and girl were flirting, and Justin doesn't understand social cues. And he thought the boy was bothering the girl, and so he took this other kid by the elbow and he squeezed his elbow, and the boy went down. He got in trouble, which he should have, just like any kid. He got sent down to the AP's office, and he had detention. But when he came home from school that day, Mary, my wife, said to him, she said, Justin, what's going on? And he said, Mommy, I'm lonely. It's the first time he ever told us that. I agree. So Mary tells me that. And all I can think in my rational brain, guys and girls, is wait a second. Justin goes to school with 2,000 kids. There's 2,000 kids in this high school. Probably another 200, 250 teachers walking around at any one time. And all I can think is, how can we be lonely in a building where there's 2,000 people walking around? How did we let that happen? And I include myself in that too. going to talk about loneliness today.